Hi, welcome to Surviving Together, a safe place for sexual assault and trauma survivors. Before I begin today's topic, I just want to remind you to please hit the like button, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell for hopefully notifications, depending on how YouTube feels that day, of any new videos that I put up and of my live streams, which are going to occur all on Eastern Time, Wednesdays at 7 and Saturdays at 3. So now for today's topic, I want to talk about male sexual assault survivors. Yes, they exist because, as I've said many times, anyone can be sexually assaulted. Any age, any race, any sexual orientation, and any gender. So boys, men can be abused by men and women. And we're going to talk about that and the extra kind of wrinkle it causes male sexual assault survivors. To give you kind of some context here, 1 in 6 men in their lifetime will be sexually assaulted. Think about that for a second. I can tell you that almost to a person of the male survivors that I speak with, they are dumbfounded by that number to find out that there are that many more of them out there. It's difficult to get a great, grasp on specific numbers, but the estimate is 10 to 15% of boys will be sexually assaulted during their childhood. I don't have any breakdown as to whether that's by male or female abusers, particularly because, for one, the notion of the female abuser it's not new, but it's really just being talked about more in recent history than it ever was. Male survivors, they suffer in silence, as do a lot of females. They're going to suffer from the same trauma effects that females do. However, there's the extra difficulties because of outdated societal norms that males have to navigate in order to effectively heal from any of their trauma. And I want to speak about that because it hopefully, as we shine a light on sexual assault in general, the more we talk about it, the more we bring to light the idea of the male sexual assault survivor. And as time goes on, just as we can see as the generations are passing, our societal ideas as to what masculinity is changing. To today, the average age of disclosure, if a man discloses at all, is going to be a 20 to 30 year delay from whenever the abuse happened. My hope is that number, that delay, that time frame can decrease as we move out of this traditional patriarchal view of just hetero masculinity. Because the problems that it causes male survivors, there's this notion that men can't be raped. And I'm using men as boys and girls. I'll say males. Males can't be raped. Males are meant to be tough. They're meant to protect themselves from any dangers. If something bad happens, suck it up. Real men aren't raped because they're the ones who initiate sex. They're not passive. They're not just there having it happen to them. If they are, then they've allowed it to happen. They must have wanted it to happen. There's very little room for victim status with the male survivor. And this is especially true when the abuser is a female. What is the notion of a male and a female engaging in some sort of sexual action? The male's considered lucky. Woohoo! Good for him. He must be a stud. Men can't be raped. And I'm talking full-on intercourse here, right? Because they have to have an erection. Well, they must have wanted it. I mean, they're getting excited. What about when they ejaculate? Obviously must have wanted it. Guys, these are biological responses, and it has absolutely nothing to say as to whether or not you were sexually assaulted. Zero. Please take that to heart if you're listening to this. These notions of what it means to be a man place an incredible amount of shame and guilt on the male survivor because they didn't live up to the standard. And these untruths significantly affect their psyche because if I'm not a man, what am I? If I wasn't sexually assaulted, what happened? This significantly impacts a male's self-identity. They're going to often, very often, especially when the abuser is male, they're going to question their sexual orientation. Does this mean I'm gay? I let it happen. I had an erection. It did feel good. Many, many men who I've spoken with who were abused as a boy in childhood question their sexual orientation for a long, long time. And that can lead to homophobia because in an effort to assure themselves that they are a man, a hetero man, they can have this extreme dislike for homosexuals or anyone they perceive to be gay. Men aren't supposed to show emotions, so they suffer in silence. They stuff their feelings way down. They put it in a box and they ignore it. Not unlike women, but especially because of these societal norms of what it means to be a man. You don't cry. You don't show those emotions. Being sexually assaulted brings up intense feelings and emotions. And when you're being told that you're not supposed to have them, Wow. How difficult is that to deal with? Not only do you forget it, you're not even supposed to have those feelings. Just as women, the interpersonal effects of being sexually assaulted for a male are very, very similar. There's going to be mistrust of others. There's going to be affecting attachment styles. So the romantic the romantic relationships later on in life can be severely affected by this, whether were assaulted as a child or as an adult. I spoke about the homophobia. Many are prevented from telling by their abuser. Or there is a fear of telling because they don't think they're going to be believed. One, take the female abuser, right? And what we think about men who are sexually assaulted by women. Then two, take what happens just in general with sexual assault survivors. People don't want to believe that it happens. It's uncomfortable to talk about. And that's why talking about it is so critical. Because we need to make sure that people, children, adults, that they are believed. When you tell, you should be believed. There's also, I think, an additional, I don't see this with female survivors as much, but there's this notion of not disclosing because the male wants to protect their family and their friends from this taint of them being identified as a sexual assault victim, and what that means for, say, their parents or their siblings. And I don't see that quite with the female population, but certainly with the males. In general, there have been very limited resources for men in order to get help to heal from sexual assault. There's going to regular therapy. And please, if you are going to see a therapist, pick one that has a specialty in sexual assault trauma, or at least trauma in general. Because the way that they are going to approach things is slightly different, and I think you're going to find it much more effective way of dealing with things through therapy. In addition to that, however, there are some resources out there, national resources, that you can tap into on your own. There is an organization called 1 in 6. There is an organization called RAINN, RAINN. And I will have links to these organizations in the description below, okay, so you don't have to memorize them. They have wonderful support systems set up for men. Actually, 1 in 6 and RAINN came together especially to address male support, so that there was 24/7 support for men out there. So anytime you can call and you are going to reach somebody. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children also deals a lot with sexual assault. And so they are very versed in dealing with male sexual assault as well. Additionally, you've got us. Here at Surviving Together, that is our main goal, is to support each other. Whether you're a sexual assault survivor or just a trauma survivor, I don't want to say just, but a sexual assault survivor or some other form of trauma, we're here for you. And I hope you join our community. Whether you're active in our chats, whether you're just watching videos, know that we are here. If you'd like to reach me personally, my email is also in the description below. And above all, what I want to leave you with, men, boys, all males, sexual assault is not your fault. No matter what you were told, no matter what you believe, it was not your fault. The blame lies solely upon the abuser. It's the only one who we should be looking down upon, not the survivor. You are a testament to your will that you are here today. And I, for one, am very glad that you are. I leave you with how I end all of my videos by noting for you that you are worthy, you are valuable, you are strong because you're a survivor. And most of all, you're loved, just as you are, for who you are. Hugs and love from me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye all.